Let me ask you something uncomfortable. You had a smaller account. Consistent, calm, making good decisions. Then you added more money, and things got harder. Not the market, not your strategy, you. You became hesitant where you used to be decisive. You second-guessed signals you'd have taken without blinking 6 months ago. That's not bad luck. There's a specific psychological mechanism behind it, and once you understand it, everything changes. Part 1. The math makes sense. Your brain doesn't. Most traders think, if I can make 15% on a $10,000 account, I should make 15% on a $100,000 account. Totally rational. The percentages are the same. Nothing technically has to change. But that logic has a blind spot. It assumes your emotions scale the same way the math does. They don't. A 2% loss on a $5,000 account is $100. On a $50,000 account, it's $1,000. Your phone bill, your groceries, money you'd feel uncomfortable explaining to your partner. Your brain grew up in a world of real things, not percentages. The moment account numbers connect to things that matter in real life, your decision-making changes completely. That's the trap. Part 2. Loss hurts more than gain feels good. Kahneman and Tversky showed that the emotional pain of losing money is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. Scaling up doesn't just increase your upside, it amplifies your fear of loss in exact proportion. When your account was small, you could tell yourself, "This is just learning money," and actually believe it. That gave you freedom. You weren't attached to every trade. But as the balance grows, that story stops being true, and your brain knows it before you do. This is why traders with a genuine edge, good systems, solid backtests, real discipline, still blow up when they scale. It's not a strategy failure. It's a psychological one nobody prepared them for. Part 3. The 3 kinds of pressure. Stress doesn't arrive all at once when you scale. It builds in layers. The first is the weight of the number itself. There's a threshold, different for everyone, where a loss stops feeling like a percentage and starts feeling like something real. You don't know your threshold until you've already crossed it. The second is the pressure of expectation. Once you have a bigger account, the story changes. I have a $100,000 account. I should be producing. Maybe your family knows. Maybe you've built a story about what this means for your future. Trading to prove something is one of the most destructive things you can do. The third is the deepest: identity. When your account was small, a rough month was just a rough month. As stakes grow, you start wrapping who you are around the account. A normal, fully anticipated loss stops feeling like a trade result. It feels like a statement about you. That's where the real damage happens. Part 4. 5 signs the stress is already affecting you. These signs are subtle. They don't look like panic. They look like being careful. First, you're checking your account constantly, not because a trade is open, but to make sure the money is still there. That's anxiety, not discipline. Second, you're locking in profits way too early, prioritizing comfort over your system's actual expectancy. Third, you're holding losers and cutting winners because closing a big loss feels like a verdict. Fourth, you're finding reasons not to enter setups you would have taken without hesitation before. The signal is there, but you invent macro uncertainty or "I'll wait for confirmation." That's fear with a professional disguise. Fifth, your position size drifts with your emotions. Bigger after wins, smaller after losses. Not from any logical framework, but from how you feel. If 3 or more of those sound familiar, none of this makes you a bad trader. It makes you human. The question is what you do about it. Part 5. The most important shift you can make. Picture 2 traders taking the exact same $1,000 loss. Trader A goes quiet, feels sick, replays it for 2 hours, and enters the next trade with something to prove. Trader B logs it, checks it was within the plan, and moves on. Same loss, same account impact, completely different inner experience. The difference isn't willpower. It's the relationship each person has with what the money represents. What changes things is understanding, really feeling, not just intellectually knowing, that your account balance is not a measure of your worth. When it goes up, you're not a better person. When it goes down, you're not a failure. The account is a tool, a scoreboard for a system running in a specific market over a specific period. Once there's space between your results and your identity, you trade differently. You take losses cleanly, follow your system consistently, and stop carrying every open position as a referendum on your life. Part 6. Structure over motivation. A lot of trading psychology advice sounds like, be disciplined, believe in yourself, stay calm. But motivation and belief are states. They go up and down and disappear at the worst moments. What actually holds under pressure is structure. That means a strict entry checklist, conditions that must all be present before you act, no exceptions. Scenario planning before every trade. While calm, you decide what you'll do if it goes in your favor and what you'll do if it doesn't. A journal that records what you were feeling when you entered, not just the numbers. And knowing your actual comfort threshold, not what you think you should handle, but what you can handle without it bleeding into the next decision. Part 7. The right way to scale. Most people get scaling wrong. They think it's about money. But scaling up is really a test of whether your psychology can handle a new level of risk. And the only way to earn that is by proving it over time. The approach that works most consistently is staged progression. Not jumping from $10,000 to $50,000 in one move. Instead, $10,000 to $15,000. Spend real time there. Then $15,000 to $22,000. At each stage, you meet two criteria: performance-based, consistent profitability over multiple months in different conditions, and behavioral, how many decisions were driven by emotion rather than the system. Profits can come from luck. Behavioral consistency cannot. When you climb this way, you build a map of yourself. You learn where you break before you break there with real money on the line. Part 8. The trap nobody talks about. When scaling goes right, you stay calm, the account grows, the process feels smooth, a very quiet and dangerous thought starts to appear. I've worked this out. I know what I'm doing now. That feeling is the beginning of most serious blow-ups for experienced traders. Not beginners. Experienced traders who let success turn into overconfidence, who start ignoring their own rules because this situation is different. The market does not care about your track record. Every session is a fresh start, and the moment you stop treating it that way is when things quietly unravel. Discipline isn't a phase you go through on the way to success. It's the thing you maintain the entire time. Closing. 3 questions to sit with. Before you close this video, write down honest answers to these 3 questions. 1. What specific dollar amount of a single day loss genuinely shifts your mental state, actually affecting how you think about the next trade? That number is your real threshold. Your risk system needs to be built so you never casually cross it. 2. When you break your trading plan, what usually triggers it? A losing streak? Excitement after a win? External pressure? Boredom? Knowing your trigger doesn't make you immune, but it means you see it coming instead of only recognizing it in hindsight. 3. And this is the hardest. If your entire trading account was wiped out today, how much of your identity goes with it? If the honest answer is a lot, that's worth taking seriously. Not because you need to care less about trading, but because when your identity is too fused with your account, every drawdown becomes a personal crisis. You cannot trade clearly through personal crises. The goal isn't to stop caring, it's to build something bigger around yourself, your relationships, your values, your other skills. So the account is one important thing in your life, not the thing. Because when you scale up the right way, You're not just growing a number on a screen. You're developing a version of yourself that can sit with uncertainty, act clearly under pressure, and keep showing up after bad days. That person is worth far more than any balance you'll ever see in your account.